pretty funny. Well, that's what happens, you know, when you do have the sort of academy-style teams, right? And they're all grown up, and they've graduated. Now they are coming to take out the Masters. Let's see how they match up, though. Nidalee off the table there for not only Dominate, but Phoenix as well.
And no Morgana for Bunny Fufu. I know throughout last year we mostly complimented his Thresh play. He was one of the up-and-coming great supports. But honestly, Morgana seems to almost be the better playmaker in recent times. We just see her being so frequently sought after. Ahri dropped away. Phoenix not allowed to play this champion. Corki away from Cop. His actually go to AD carry. So a lot of these sort of most prioritized champions just removed down the line from various players.
Yeah, and Gravity going with just the more super powerful picks. Mid-centric here with the last lock-in of LeBlanc, so targeting Phoenix, and we'll see, because Keen isn't a guy that relies on the common mages to play in mid lane. So full mid lane focus for Gravity is a fairly easy strat for them. He can always whip out something unexpected. Lissandra coming in as the last ban. She won't get another chance to win a game.
Interesting to see that Maokai is first pick, though, with so many other really nice top lane tanks available, like Sion, like Gnar. And the fact that Maokai was like, no, this is not only our first pick, but we want it more so than those other tanks as well. Really sings to how much they want Hanser on just that champion.
And we kind of have seen the reason for that. Gnar, fairly hard to utilize really effectively once you get to super coordinated team fights, because the enemy team can work around it as well. Maokai is just so reliable. And even talking with a lot of the teams, he's starting to come in and sort of replace Gnar in a lot of the scrims for these guys, just because of that reliability factor. I think it's also just a great generalistic pick to go for with your first startup.
Yeah. He's good as follow-up engage, and he's good as a defensive tank here, and we'll see if they do that for themselves. Meanwhile, though, great defensive pick for Team Liquid as Xpecial gets himself Janna, and Dominant with a well-rounded Jarvan pick for himself. Meanwhile, Vi and Thresh for blue side.
Yeah, Gravity just going to continue on with what we've seen from them. A lot of hard engage, you know, single target focus. Those are the easiest types of teams to execute if you do have some coordination issues, because you're very well aware where you guys are going. Vi has a nice little line that goes straight to the target, and everybody will be on board with that initiation. Maokai, very easy for him to follow up on a target as well. The mouse over for Vayne, I'm not a very big fan of going into Maokai and Vi, both of which can close on her very easily. Even though everybody likes seeing Piglet play Vayne, it's fairly impossible to outplay.
Ooh, new Tristana. First we're seeing her this split, to my knowledge. It's 5.2. Tristana was enabled starting this week. Her 2-week timeout is gone. Cool.
And even though even though she was reworked,
by the way,
she still has rocket jump and her buster shot. So she has a lot of disengage for the rest of the teams, and she can be fairly safe later in the game as her range goes up. But yes, you also mentioned Swain. We used to pretty much preempt every single game that Quas is in with, hey, this guy's going to bring out Swain. It's going to be awesome, for about a year. And then we kind of gave up doing it because it took so long to actually pull it out. But we finally will get to see maybe Quas' Swain still could go to Phoenix. That would be the ultimate.
The ultimate bait and switch.
What a bait that would be if it actually went mid lane.
Oh, man. I do like Swain. This is actually a very good mid-game team if they get ahead.
He's a very snowball champion.
Yeah.
If he can get a lead in that lane, yeah, he can definitely bully. We'll see though. Does start to fall off later.
Well, Gravity, they've locked in the rest of their comp, and you kind of pointed out at the very beginning, hey, let's all dive in, let's all be single target focused. Graves and Zed both fit that bill quite well. So, full speed ahead for Gravity.
Yeah.
See if they can knock people down.
Very, very forward thinking. Let's see here for Team Liquid though, because whenever you're faced with this sort of team that can go just straight at you, well, I don't know, they have split pushing Zed as well.
Yeah,
you have to keep that in the back of your mind.
Yeah,
because Swain, especially later on, not the best at 1v1 split pushing, especially against Zed.
One risk though is their only wave clear then of Zed is splitting is just Graves. Doesn't typically go Shiv. The Q is okay at it, right? But you got Tristana. She's actually, in my opinion, the new best turret sieger among AD carries. So we haven't talked about her much. Caston can come through. Isn't amazing against Zed, but still a decent split pusher. But Tristana is no longer the same crazy late game terror she used to be. Her base stats took a very big hit. Rapid fire is much weaker than it was last year. Her mid-game's incredible, though, with the explosive charge and pumping it up. She's an amazing turret killer.
Yeah, very true. Also catches a lot of people off guard.
Oh, yeah.
There's a new surprise factor that she never really had before.
It does plenty of damage, but this is to me, feels very mid-game siege-focused from Team Liquid. Again, it's the opposite of what you expect Tristana teams to be, but new Trist plays this way.
Yeah, and I really do like that they moved away from that casted and don't feel like that would fit in against this Gravity team at all. Not only does he not handle Zed that well in that 1 versus 1, unless he gets a good earlier mid game, but once you have this really strong mid line for Gravity, it's hard for him to get some work done. Meanwhile, we've seen Phoenix have great games on Azir. He has been one of the few guys that has shown a very, very high skill level with this complicated champion.
And so interesting just to see on the right-hand side, look at these summoner spells chosen. Special went Ignite, Phoenix went Exhaust. Team Liquid looking to actually play aggressively in their duo lane most likely because the Ignite pickup, atypical for Janna players. Meanwhile, of course, Phoenix not wanting to get one shot, brings Exhaust for himself, and that allows him to actually still have an Exhaust for the Zed in team fights. But again, I think it's an interesting mid-game sort of team for Team Liquid, see if they can play it.
Yeah, and I like that you point out the Ignite as well. Coach is going with Hugs now, all of their own volition. I have to say, though, that Ignite, Trist will have to keep an eye on that lane and
they
see if they start working with the minion wave. All right, well, going back to the Exhaust, they are facing Zed, so as many Exhausts as you can have.
I was hoping that was going to happen. But while the teams are loading into the game, start sharing your picks. Hashtag GVWin, hashtag TLWin to @LOL Esports. It is unfortunately Barrier, Azir, and Exhaustic Special. I did actually like the choices there, but it just means that Team Liquid going to be a little bit less aggressive than I expected in their bottom lane here.
Well, let's see if Piglet and Xpecial look to lane swap away from Graves. Tristana's early laning phase not quite as poor as it used to be. A lot of the AD carries talking about how it's easy for her to just kind of get through laning phase.
Oh, hold on. Early fight, though. Xpecial hooked on in. Good damage early by Azir, forcing the flash away from Bunny Fufu. But Team Liquid not able to push any farther forward here. And a couple of trinket wards keep Gravity safe now. They're engaging in.
Yeah, Bunny Fufu chugging an early potion here in the fight. They really wanted to re-engage there, but they are not going to find it. And he will be down a biscuit.
Yeah, that's actually a fairly big deal for Thresh. He's only got 3 since he went for a mana potion to start. So it's actually a third of his sustain gone if he does get attacked in a 2-on-2 lane. Won't matter much in a 2-on-1.
Yeah, plus he has Targon.
Yeah, just total sustain available is cut slightly. We'll see, though. Gravity, get a couple of aggressive trinkets down. Looks like none to watch for lane swaps, just to watch where the jungler starts.
Yeah, interesting choice there. I guess they just assume the duo will probably be going top. It doesn't look like Maokai's going to go anywhere quickly. Probably just start up on those Wraith camps, or Raptor camps, as is very common, and the double jungle start here for Liquid, as they're the ones to call and start off that lane swap. Try and get this Tristana towards that mid game they're looking for, so that she can siege up along with Azir, the premier mid lane turret taker.
So we'll see how the sieges can start up. Team Liquid gonna just start the freeze. Janna's gonna stay hidden. Ooh, Piglet almost pulled that minion into the brush. I don't know if they actually saw Xpecial or not because of that. But it will start the freeze. Tristana, of course, should not be learning E as a result, so that she can keep the freeze. Team Liquid jungling in. Actually, jungling greedily and not getting punished for it. They don't have anyone really in the bottom lane, and they're still getting their own blue buff.
Yeah, starting on the side away from your duo. A lot of teams have actually been doing this. And it comes back to most of the teams are really risk averse, so we haven't seen too many tricky blind level 1 plays. There are a lot of options. You can punish that style, but we just haven't seen many teams willing to go for it. And so, not going to be anything different this time around.
This one is the
common mid lane support move.
Fortunately, Keen learned Q, not E. Not a big surprise, of course. No slow. Bunny Fufu gets blocked off by a minion. And Phoenix does stay safe, but he's got to always be aware of the Thresh roams. Hanser did do the standard Maokai Raptor camp and then teleport top lane with some extra potions and wards. And he's actually contesting this freeze here. Looks like Xpecial's Janna will be leaving the lane, and it means a one-on-one matchup here, Hanser versus Piglet.
Maokai should be able to shut this. He should be able to get that into the turret fairly easily.
Wow. So lane swap really not holding down the solo lane of Gravity.
Got to worry about the jungler, though. St. Vicious is going to head bottom. 3-man turret dives, definitely not gonna happen. So many of those have been turned around. It's just way too risky, especially this late in the game. So I don't think we'll see either jungler going for turret dives anytime soon, especially now with Janna showing up to support Quas, who, by the way, we've been waiting so long for this Swain. This is the first time in North American LCS.
Oh, wow. The gank finally works over St. Vicious. Phoenix already earns his double summoners, and the Ignite's going to be enough. First blood, Keen.
So I always like to put a lot of emphasis on the early flash gank from Vi. It's so much potential, even when you have a mid laner like that that has his own dash. Both summoners blown and the kill for both mid laners. So both mid laners are going to have to get those side wards along the river out, because Jarvan is very capable of coming back to answer really quickly.
But it still means that the advantage did come to Gravity early on. 600 gold lead for themselves. Not a gigantic one, but hey, it still exists. Hanser is still staying ahead of Quas in minion kills as well, so that lane swap's going just fine. Looks like Gravity having the better first 5 minutes plan. Quick word from Dominate to keep tabs on where the enemy jungler is. They know Saint hasn't taken that blue yet. So it's 2 buffs to 1 for the start.
It's a thing about Vi. She does not need blue early for jungle clear. She uses very little mana in her early clears. Just relying on the regen from Machete. Everything should calm down after this, though. Now there's a lot more vision up on the map for both sides. So I do not expect Saint to go very aggressive. At this point, after he's already burned his flash, probably going to farm a little bit harder, try and get to that level 6.
It is interesting to see that Gravity do not seem to be punishing this lane very hard. Now it's actually pushing past river. There's no good escape tools from Team Liquid down here.
No. They do not have very good escape tools. They do have decent ward coverage and the ability to counter and engage, as you point out. But the thing is, I think really the interesting part about this is that Gravity have opted to get Maokai's solo lane experience, whereas Team Liquid are putting everything on Piglet. They want Piglet to get to that mid-game Tristana so they can start pushing down these turrets before Zed gets to be that threat. They're already, pretty worried. He got his first blood. Zed's got this boost. That split push from Gravity is going to be a big factor in that mid-game. Yeah. And Team Liquid would really like to get Piglet powerful so that they have an answer.
Yeah, one thing to keep in mind with Tristana is the actual attack damage ratio of the E scales up with rank. So that BF Sword Power Spike actually means more if you get to level 7 or 9 or something high like that. So a lot of extra reason to put levels as well as gold on this champion. AD carry is typically not level reliant. Tristana somewhat is here. Now, we still have to wait until that mid-game sort of push does happen. In the meantime, they are just trying to get the farm and not get pushed down too much.
Yeah, it does show, that sort of change in focus here for Team Liquid too. They really want to give Piglet more of a chance to shine and succeed. So see how well he does with that solo lane. He's doing his job as Trish, trying to shove in right now. He also has his own ward coverage. St. Vicious helping out as well. Actually, that's Keen's pink ward from Zed. He got that with that first blood money that he put in the river, by the way.
It looks like they are just staying safe all the same here. So, recall should be coming in soon for the AD carry. 60 minion kills is enough for your first back. In fact, both AD carries sitting at about 1,800 gold, so it's boots or potion to go along with the BF swords. Bunny Fufu losing a recall. Kopta will get back safely. And I do want to know when Tristana comes back as well, because she's kind of stopped bullying Maokai at this point. Hanser still, okay, yeah, he's pushed under his turret, no big surprise in AoE clearing AD carry, but not being held down.
And that is, of course, the big reason why Trist had that stint last year as a mid laner, just because she's able to shove lanes so easily, so early on as a solo laner. Here comes that BF sword, though. Boosted up by the boots and the potion because of the extra wave that she got.
Yeah.
Let's see where Keen decides to go, though.
So far, just holding course, and he's still got to be afraid of Phoenix's bullying. The blue buff coming through at about 7 minutes and change does mean this Zed has to be very afraid. Death Mark's up, Ignite is up, no flash for him, but Phoenix does have his, meaning maybe Vikings can work. St. Vicious is 6.
He has farmed up to that 6. Surprised actually Dominate didn't go for any early moves.
Yeah, but fairly passive from him.
Marvin ready with his Cataclysm now. You can even see Quas and Xpecial now. This duo lane that they have with the double ranged Swain and Janna coming down with some ward coverage, trying to get some extra vision around the dragon area. Fending off Bunny Fufu.
Quas does have Catalyst, so the road to Rod of Ages is slowly coming up. Piglet, yeah, losing plenty of health. Keen without cooldowns up means they feel a little bit safe, but with Thresh right over on the corner means they do protect the pink ward. Good job Gravity there on this one. Caught being left alone in the bottom lane, and he's just getting levels for himself. Dominate now with his red buff. Increases his gank power.
So just from the 2vs1 lane swap, the pure CSing ability in those lanes, Cop coming out ahead, as Piglet actually had to change lanes to come down,
yeah,
Cop actually got to stay in his lane because it was Team Liquid who lane swapped, and they had to swap back, lose on about a wave there in transition.
Yeah, they had recalled at about the same score, so hey, props to Gravity for getting their assignments the way they wanted to. BF Sword again for both AD carries means this will be an interesting matchup. Tristana would normally be weak here, but again, she's not anymore. So I do want to watch how this matchup develops in this 2-on-2, where both AD carries have plenty of damage.
All right, jungler intervention already pings down bottom.
See. And Fog.
All summoners are available though. There's going to have to be chained CC from Bunny and St. Vicious, by the way.
As long as the special plays towards the back, though, he shouldn't be an easy target. Piglet almost arranged for a Vault Breaker ult. Yeah. And they played just safe enough that nothing happened. Saint knew he wasn't seen because of the pink ward, but just a little bit too shy to pull the trigger. So nothing doing so far in these lanes. Still the farm fests. Ward coverage, there's actually a few decent deep wards by the blue side. You got one in the top lane Tribrush, one well north of the sort of right side jungle, and one up above the river as well. So able to track Dominate pretty well.
Yeah, and you did mention the defense of their pink ward line here for Gravity. Very important to try and keep those up as long as possible. Only 2 more hits on that one behind red buff. But the early alert system will stay in place, and they have that true sight, so they are trying to gain pathways for Keen to roam. Only thing is, Keen actually didn't go through the true sight. He went into the enemy jungle, where Team Liquid's own defensive ward saw him, and Quas is alerted. He knows the dive is coming, should be able to pull out, and the rest of Team Liquid should make the call to go for a cross-map objective because they see this commitment really early from Gravity. Yep. We should definitely take at least a dragon, probably be able to pressure turret as well. All right, here's the dragon.
That's the goal. Okay, Azir does stay mid, shoves the wave into the turret, and then comes down to join his team. A couple of minions lost by Keen, not too much though. Pretty clean dragon take. They disengage, waited for the Graves ult, and that goes down. Top lane actually still being held by Quas. Rooted up though, this could be dangerous. Lands a nice little root, but Saint still taking aggro. He's got to be a bit careful. Actually, sorry, it was Haunter, so they split the damage very cleanly. And that is a kill, number 2 for Gravity.
Finally get to see the Swain, and Good's tower dove. Quas goes down. That's also going to be that Haunter is going to get his Rod of Ages earlier. I wonder if they'll stick around and try and get damage on turret. Doesn't look like they do. Just happy to run the creep wave into it, deny the minions from Quas, whose teleport is down, by the way, so he can't get back there very quickly.
Well, minions do anyway. 150 local gold lost by not sticking around. Not the end of the world, though. Early recall can matter. Rod of Ages was completed by Haunter all the same, so you talked about it being earlier, and it is. Was lane swapped on, still got it within about 12 minutes.
Yeah, and it's actually a really big component. To get that Rod of Ages stacking earlier, because Quas doesn't have his teleport, he's going to stay out on the map for quite a while this time. And he was really close to being able to complete it, but not quite. Means it's going to delay the stacking by quite a bit.
And keep in mind, he's behind in items. They know his flash is down. There's no outer turret to hide under either, and so if Gravity can take over control of the northern jungle, and we're actually seeing Haunter try that now with a ward right here, Quas's days are still numbered.
Just a sapling. Keep an eye on that red buff here. Dominate. Still haven't heard a peep out of Dominate in this game.
And he's still getting out farmed is the crazy thing. St. Vicious up 9 minions in the guy.
Yeah, Obi-Wan here. Showing his stripes. We'll see though. St. Vicious also going to have a ultimate coming back off of cooldown fairly soon here. See where he decides to use it. Again, that bottom lane is really difficult, even with the guaranteed CC from Vi.
Oh,
but if you land hooks like
that hook on a Piglet, they're going to save the Flay because he could have rocket jumped out of it. Buster shot trades for Ignite.
Ooh, look at this top lane. Maokai coming in for a dive here onto Phoenix. It's a good thing he's got backup from Dominate. Ready for a counter game.
Gigantic dive out of this one. Dominate is around, but the damage output looks like it's not enough being done. Xpecial knocks the team into the turret, and they will pick up Hanser. Nicely played by Team Liquid.
Wow, they bring everything towards the mid lane because top lane is shoved. Maokai, not many areas to go.
Oh, hold on, Keen. Oh, the Q's got dodged by Phoenix just barely, but Ruin King comes in, gets the melee knockup. The damage comes through for Phoenix, but Saint trades back.
Yeah, pretty dirty. They did get the assisted kill, so technically above in gold, but not the prettiest pickup. Gravity still have advantage in this game. That will be the big point here for Zed as well. So Brutalizer completed with the Blade of the Ruin King. Now Maokai comes by. He wasn't seen by a ward, by the way. This is just strong game sense from Dominate. There for the counter gank and a great roam up from Xpecial to be there in time. Comes up with the Windsec, as you said. Able to knock Hanser back in. Saint and Hanser, by the way, holding onto their flashes really long. They're like, oh, we kind of botched this three-man dive, but we're not in that much danger. Don't have to blow the flashes early until Xpecial shows up with the unexpected Janna roam straight up the river.
And the problem now is that these plays are going to be even less likely. Zhonya's Hourglass got completed for Phoenix. First item for him, double Doran's Ring for the mana regen, and then just saying, yeah, I don't really want to get Vi or Zed ulted anymore. And likely isn't going to. In fact, very little magic damage on Gravity at all. So armor going to be a very happy component for this Team Liquid squad.
Should be a priority for them. And that last little sequence of events as well, the entire time, Quas was slowly last hitting the minion wave up top. Maokai decided to try and utilize his time elsewhere, and it backfired. So a really big win for Team Liquid. Quas right back in this. His Rod of Ages is completed, albeit a bit later. And now he's looking to make some plays down bottom. Teleport's available for Hanser as well, even though he's top.
Good pressure by Tristana. They're going to back off and respect the Maokai teleport, though. Zed and Vi were on the way. Their ultis are up. So no big gains here. But you're seeing the fruits of the labor of them using this high-level Tristana, the mana-less wave clear, the quick pushing, and then E onto a turret, and it takes damage really quickly. So Team Liquid now really, as we kind of expected them to do at the beginning of the season, playing well around Piglet, using him as a point of power.
Let's see how they do when they group up, though, because they still haven't gotten to that stage. And Gravity with this turret lead, they continually have Quas going up top for Team Liquid, deep in his own territory. Hanser, though, hasn't been able to make anything happen elsewhere on the map, and they make the call to swing up mid instead. I'm waiting for the Zed split push to come in, though, because he does have the Brutalizer, Blade of the Ruin King.
Unfortunately for his team, not much from the split push yet, though. These turrets refusing to fall, and Team Liquid just continually spreading around the map and clearing the waves as fast as possible. Tristana and Azir, namely, being very good at that. But off of a recall, Gravity immediately shows up bot lane. Piglet wanted to buy an Infinity Edge, and that means the turret falls down. Gravity now 2-0 in turrets. They're up 3,000 gold in this game.
Yeah, and they also have a dragon on the menu, so they'd like to even that one up early so that they're not forced into it. Well, there's a different situation if they don't have vision control around it. Right now, complete control. Quas, though, as we said, teleport ready, giant minion wave prep top, so there's a lot of pressure on Gravity. They have to make a choice here. Do we want to lose this giant minion wave? Looks like they do not, so maybe they just give up that next dragon. Send Cop up top by himself to soak this.
Good by Team Liquid to use the teleport advantages. Monster wasn't able to go top lane either because of that, so TL maybe get themselves in a good position.
Yeah, they at least can regain vision control of Dragon, which is fairly big for them. And at most, they can start it off and hope to finish it before Cop gets there. However, Cop's walking right now
going to take him 20 seconds. They ping him. They know he's actually on the wrong side of this one. Now, can they get away with St. Vicious? He's going to try for this one. Does not get the steal, and in fact, it's knocked into the team. That was an ill-fated steal attempt. Team Liquid, Dragon, and a kill.
Feel like Saint kind of lost his way there because he hit the Vault Breaker, deciding between going for the Dragon, trying to kill, dominate, and click the Lantern. Couldn't get off all three, misses out on the Smite, and then doesn't have time to click the Lantern to get right back out. So,
yeah, great heads-up play by Phoenix to knock him into the team. No way to get a Lantern at that point. He did Smite, just smited a bit early. Saint misses you as much as he misses Smite, unfortunately. Liquid, though, looking for the mid lane. Quas joining with Phoenix. Blue buff Azir, but getting challenged by Cop.
All right, let's see here. Still, Piglet and Xpecial in the side lane. Now they're pushing against the solo Zed, though. Split push.
Ooh. Try taking more damage. Keen going in on Piglet. Pops the death mark. Good buster shot. Good rocket jump away. Ignite popped as well. And that is not going to be enough damage to kill Piglet. Fairly close, though.
Yeah, he didn't pop any summoners, though, relying completely on Xpecial there. See the trust. Meanwhile, Zed, of course, used the Ignite, so summoner spell advantage over to Team Liquid. Still, Gravity, though, looking to make something happen. They have the short range. They have the split-pushing Zed, who now has a lot less bite because the ultimate is down. So they're really going to rely on filling up more wards inside both sides of the jungle.
Yeah, you got to feel like Gravity are the advantage team. I do want to check back in, by the way, on the top laner point. We talked about the Rod of Ages coming in earlier. It's actually only a 2-stack difference right now, 7-5 on those 2 Rods of Ages.
Ooh,
so Quas not far behind. Piglet's got to be careful. Good rock jump, gets away from St. Vicious. Quarter second later, he would have gotten knocked out of that by the Vault Breaker. Now Cop, though's got to be careful. Stinger Zhonya's Azir does plenty of damage.
Yeah, he's ready for that grouping now. Team Liquid. Looks like they are going to go mid. Haunter. It's a bit of a snare. Should take some harass here.
The 2 mages trying to hit the tank, not doing a lot of work. However, the rest of Gravity aren't here to defend the turret. The outer should fall now, and Team Liquid finally getting themselves on the turret scoreboard here. About 10 minutes later than you might have expected from that composition, but it's starting to work now.
All right, so they're pinging off red as well. So hand red buff off to Piglet, and then try and get the other 2 outer turrets down. The outer turrets should be fairly easy targets when they regroup around. Phoenix does have everything available, and the Azir plus Janna is just ridiculously hard to get inside of. Even with guaranteed buy diving, everyone else can get shoved back out.
And even after the assault and battery, you knock her out afterwards, then you hope a Q puts you back in. So Team Liquid could play the siege very safely. It's just all about the execution for these guys. Mid lane, once again, under fire for Gravity. They seem to key around Cop quite a bit.
They've shifted Azir to the bottom lane, and they're going to take some tower damage for it.
But with Bunny losing his hook and missing it, allows Piglet to play aggressively and force the team back out. Good play around the cooldowns here. And no mid-pressure really happens, even though Azir was located to the other side of the map.
Yeah, he's trying to answer this Zed. He does have his Zhonya, so he's fully equipped to stop the split push. Interesting take here, invading the jungle while that Wolf Ghost is up from Team Gravity.
Yeah. Gets a ward, and he just feels safe enough, interestingly. I believe there's a ward to the top left as well, so it watches the rotate from mid lane as well as the one from that right-hand side. So no ways in onto Vi. St. Vicious clears a ward, gets some wards down safely himself.
Man, it seems like Team Liquid, even though they are behind, they're very, very much okay with waiting for the next few minutes. Just trying to get more and more farm onto Piglet, because once they group up, nobody's getting to Piglet. Nobody's going to be able to take him out early on in the fight. They're probably going to have to target someone else, because this mid line is ridiculous. Quas and Jarvan can both control a giant portion of the screen with those AoE abilities. And then we already mentioned the knockbacks from Azir and Janna.
Yeah, it's really worth noting how damage over time Team Liquid really is. Azir, actually auto-attack focused for a mage, if you believe it. Quas on Swain, very similar situation where the persistent damage is quite high. Meanwhile, Gravity's so ult-centric that it does create a very interesting fight dynamic. If Gravity don't one-shot people, the fight's going to go sour. Keen still has to respect Azir just the same because of this early Zhonya's Hourglass. There's no dueling potential for the Zed, it seems. And it makes it very easy for Team Liquid to just play with a holding pattern.
Yep. They also don't feel forced to go out and contest dragons either. They've gotten 2, which is plenty for them. Even though Gravity are getting vision everywhere, Team Liquid very content just to farm at their turrets.
They're even allowed to play in their own jungle. I'm a bit surprised, being that Gravity feels they're a little bit ahead, that they're not contesting these buffs and stealing things away. Mid lane outer still not going down. Gravity not really forcing their will much.
Good answer here from Team Liquid. Multiple sources of wave clear, dealing with the split push. Maokai up top, though, did get some work done. Hawks are able to get that one all the way to the turret.
Definitely a positive thing, but only a few hundred health lost to the turret. Of course, that shield only blocks champion damage, not minions, so pushing a wave in will, in fact, get you some good headway. Dragon now started up. Dragon 5 not a concern, but Dragon number 1 is at least the start of the road here, and Gravity not even going to be looked at sideways. So Dragon number 1 does go to these players.
And Team Liquid just pretty much ignoring it. There already wasn't a turret in mid lane.
Oh, hold on, the hook lands. In comes the rest of the team, and Phoenix has to be careful about his Zhonya's. He needs to worry about Deathmark, but no follow-up.
Now, popping up this Azir turret buys a lot of time because it creates a choke point here in mid. Whoa, another hook landing, and they go in on this one.
Still got a turret, though. Bunny Fuba's going to go down, just does not respect the turret, but Saint fires back. Zhonya's not used in time, forces the flash away, thanks to Swain's root. 1 for 1.
I have to say, I think that was a bit of misplay there from Phoenix.
Yeah.
Going for his ultimate move to try and knock back someone who is just about to die, and then not being able to get off his vulnerability. Of course, just adding to that injury. No summon is blown.
Strange death for the Team Liquid mid laner, but Gravity losing no time in pushing around the map. Keen, 224 minions on him. Yomu's plus Blade of the Ruin King. Looks like Last Whisper is even next for him. So he's going to have plenty of damage and plenty of split push power.
All right, so let's look at it once again. It's pretty much a 5 versus 4, plus there's the Azir turret, though, so that's why you go on. So Phoenix goes in. He tries to ultimate back Cop, I guess. That's what it was for. It wasn't for the Thresh, who was already dead. But Cop was definitely out of range, so he wasn't going to get that one.
Phoenix actually 3/4 of his team's deaths as well. The focus on this player has been reasonably effective from Gravity. We sit at a 1,700 gold game, so super close right here. Everyone's scaling up pretty nicely. No one really shut down minion-wise. It's quite similar on all sides.
Ooh. And this Tristana, the combo completed, Freak. Infinity Edge plus Phantom Dancer.
Yep, power spikes are in.
That is very, very large. If they can let him auto-attack.
All right, they go in on Bunny Fufu. Piglet Rocket jumps in on this one, knocks back Cop and stays on a Thresh, but be careful because here comes Vi, and Piglet gets killed right away. 1 for 1 AD for support. Cop doesn't quite keep chasing Xpecial though. Jumps on in, good flash by Xpecial to escape from his former AD carry, and now Phoenix is caught alone. The single target focus working well from Gravity. The flash, the dash away. Quas though goes down to Keen, and Team Gravity finding a win in this team fight.
Well, that was a really curious engage to me. Team Liquid, the team that benefits so much from having their battle line set up, their front line and their back line in the same place and ready, are actually initiating and having Tristana rocket jump forward without the Azir to rely on. Xpecial did his best, but very curious engage from Team Liquid, straying away from the turrets, and Gravity, really good job capitalizing on it, using that targeted single target CC to punish them. Dominate and Xpecial going in on Bunny Fufu, as you said. Cop gets knocked back while exhausted, so not that big of a deal. And Saint just gets right in there to Piglet. As you can see, Phoenix was off screen, tried his best to get there in time, but from that point on, Gravity with the strong front line here. And Keen just doing work by himself, taking the last minute Shadow back to his ultimate.
And unfortunately, Quas just now has the Zhonya's. The top laner being held down just enough to delay that item. and you see what happens. Pretty soon, though, Team Liquid are going to be close to immune to Zed. 2 Zhonya's users. You don't really want to ult Janna anyway. The question is, how well can Piglet peel for himself then? Or the team peel for him? And maybe they can work around Keen.
Yeah, especially if they keep using him with the red buff on the front line, rocket jumping.
Well, yeah.
To try and start it off. And rocket jump and buster shot, by the way, both used in the first 5 seconds of that fight. So all of his self-peel gone.
Yeah. He used it on Cop, and Cop just walked right back in and was like, I'm ranged, I don't really care.
And St. Vicious
pressed R and wasn't stopped.
There you go. All right. Well, they do recoup 1 turret, moving up top to take that one, get some more global gold for them. Deficit still easily overcomable.
Yeah, the question is, how can Gravity force this farther up? Because they do feel like the team that's leading, they have this all-in composition. They want to keep diving. It feels like they're going to keep playing the aggressive side of the map, and so deep ward's the name of the game for these guys. Top jungle looks like that's the target. You can see St. Vicious running around through Krugs, already warded the red buff. And they're setting up for this top lane tier 2 to be pushed down. The entire team on this side of the map, after this wave, Team Liquid already reacting in time.
Zed also got his eyes open to see if anybody would wander through, but not deep enough with the gravity vision for them to go for solo plays. Everyone recalling off of the top side, and it will be a fairly calm game until we see another one of these fights break out over Dragon, maybe 45 seconds or so coming back up. Because Gravity, again, they do not want to press up against the turrets. There's almost no chance of taking those down when the full team of Team Liquid is up.
And you can see that Gravity has to play defensively because of that. The wave clear just makes it so hard for Gravity to do what they want. They, by the way, only have 1 truly ranged champion, and it's Graves, who's quite short range for a marksman. So very little they can do to siege the wave clear. Almost effortless from Team Liquid. Again, no good dueling partners here either. So it's all about finding the picks in the jungle, making plays around objectives. Speaking of which, Dragon's up in 5 seconds. Baron's on the table as well. Gravity once again look for the left side of the map, and in fact, Haunter is on top of Baron right now. And Team Liquid look mid.
Yeah, so they do threaten that trade, but Team Liquid just shoving very quickly. Now they're boxed in, so they
With
have
a turret, though.
They popped up the turret, but they've sort of forced a fight here. There's going to be a clash because Gravity are on the opposite side, and there's 2 objectives on both points, so they're going to force the Dragon here.
Decent poke came in, but yeah, they cut off the minion wave, so no siege available for Liquid. Gravity are indeed forcing Dragon. Bunny Fufu, though, losing a lot of health to Phoenix. No hook found, no teammates found. Dragon getting low. Dominant's going to try for the smite. Does not get it. Cop takes the credit, but in goes the engage. St. Vicious choosing, do I go in? Yes, goes for Phoenix, but then immediately back out, forces to flash away. Dominate low, but in comes a targeting for Piglet. 1 kill so far for Gravity, and Team Liquid losing their jungler. The fight continues. Quas in the middle of this battle, but looks like the consistent damage might just be enough. Piglet goes for Bunny Fufu. Getting locked up by Hansler means he has to flash in, but gets hooked again. Still getting knocked around. Piglet finally gets the kill and forces himself out, but he is the only remaining member of Team Liquid. Gravity crushed that fight. The Zhonya's wore out, and Piglet's got nowhere to run. Keen says hello and goodbye.
Ooh, exactly what Gravity wanted. The fight around the neutral objective, out in open territory. And a little bit of a uncoordinated play there from Team Liquid. Let's take another look here. So Dominate, he goes in straight for the straight for the AD carry. Haunter basically zoning the whole team. And Saint's flash right there. He had both main carries of Team Liquid on him, on Vi, who's building tank after the Warrior Enchantment. So pretty much Saint did his job, delaying the 2 damage dealers long enough for Keen on the backside to clean up the easy kill there.
Yeah.
And Zed just rips through the rest of the team.
Gotta say, Gravity looking a lot more coordinated in this game. They played the team fight largely around Cop, and then let Keen do his own thing because it's Zed, they can do that.
Yeah.
But Dominate dove the back line with no champions that are good at following up. Azir, Swain, Tristana, none of those are follow-up champions.
Yeah, this is the team that we are looking for to siege up at turrets.
Yeah. But they dove 3 champions deep, and then Dominate was like, oh, that was bad.
And remember, they had position on mid lane, too. They even had an Azir turret with them. They could have just traded that, given away this dragon. It wasn't that important of a dragon for them. The second one, denying that from Gravity,
I agree on that one.
Biggest deal.
I actually don't think they could have gotten the turret, though, because right before Dragon, Keen cut the minion wave off. There actually might not have been time due to good play by Gravity. I agree with you, that would have been theoretically the best play. I'm just not sure it was available. And props to Gravity for making that so, if that's correct here. Top, Spidey senses. Not correct though, no one's there.
Great control by Keen then. Minion wave control in mind with that Zed. Almost already to max level. Happens very quickly for the split pusher. We'll see what he can do though. He does have the elixir as well. All-in potential on pretty much any target. Nobody can 1 versus 1 Keen, so they will have to make it a turret defense game.
And 3 items now for both AD carries. Bloodthirster for Cop versus Last Whisper for Piglet. Does mean Piglet will do a little bit more damage in fights. But this is the time where it starts getting, I think, a little bit more rough for Tristana, because she's leveling up abilities like Rocket Jump that don't mean all that much, unless you're actually getting really big resets, whereas Cop has a lot of highly skilled abilities. Rank 2 ulti means quite a lot for Graves. And it seems like the window for sieging may have already passed for Team Liquid. They've been getting progressively farther behind throughout this game. 2 dragons in a row to Gravity. They're now looking at Baron as well, though it's on top of a Scuttler. Yeah, that was weird.
Again, they have position mid, headed down to push this one. Again, with the Azir turret that they can back to.
That's number 4. That same turret, the 4th time Phoenix has built that. And they
there
already, look at
is.
that. Really nice job. Team Liquid finally get the out rotation, and there's the first tier 2 turret kill of the game.
Rapid fire. Oh, Keen goes in.
Again, Piglet rocket jumps forward, gets jumped on, but out goes Keen right away. Deathmark, though, brings Piglet down to 1/4 health, and in comes the battle. Can they do any damage? Rapid Fire is down, and look at the damage to the front line. Cop still alive, still dealing damage. 2 for 0 so far for Gravity. Forces zones of Quas, and he's not doing enough damage. Hanser zoning the team out. Quas, the 3rd casualty of Team Liquid. Piglet gets found by Hanser. The preemptive sapling slows him down, roots him up in place. 4 for 0, a solo kill for the Maokai, and Gravity crushing.
Oof. Well, both teams get part of what they want. Well, let's see if St. Vicious and Dominate. The 1 versus 1. It's not meant to be. Dominate. Let's see if he goes for the YOLO steal. Very, very dangerous.
They don't have Callista.
The rest of his team's already dead, so he's committed.
Target Dominate early. Jumps into the pit. Nice try. I do like his attempt there, but really clean by Keen and Bunny Fuba to push him out. No chance of a steal now. Even goes to St. Vicious. So there you go, 16-7.
So once again, Team Liquid, they grouped up, they got what they wanted around the turret, but then another open area fight where Gravity flank. They come from all sides here. Piglet gets engaged on first with Keen, who can jump back out, and then Phoenix is the 2nd target. So the 2 main carries for this team, taken so low this early, they don't get to put out the DPS they need. Everybody on Gravity is a much more durable champion, role by role.
Yeah.
And Team Liquid aren't able to make use of their superior range or terrain altering abilities. So great pickup there from Gravity, even though it was Dominate who started it off.
Yeah, and actually counted Piglet's auto attacks in that fight. He got 0 auto attacks for the first about 8 seconds. He got 7 attacks total before he jumped over the Raptor camp. Vision control gave him no attacks at all. No blue trinket for him. He actually could have played around the Fog of War by getting some kind of vision producing ability for himself, but did nothing on Tristana to start that fight out.
I mean, so much work being done by Keen on this Zed.
Yeah.
Skyrocketed to the level 18. Giant chunk of Piglet's health taken out really early on, getting the death mark and getting out in that split second before any of the CC could land. Very, very good Zed play here from Keen so far, both inside and outside of team fights. Cutting off minion waves, taking down 80 carries. He does it all.
Keen's been a really good pickup here for Gravity. 10 KDA on the Zed here. In fact, very few deaths on anyone from Gravity, aside from Bunny Fufu, but that's okay. We'll forgive him. Mid lane under fire. The team actually looking to siege the team with better range than them. But it's working so far. Cop's got to be a bit careful. Actually, yeah, Bunny Fufu. Yeah, you're seeing how hard the siege actually is.
And that's the other thing. Against Baron, since it doesn't give regen now, poking out members with Baron buff, very, very effective. Force him to recall. And they might be able to hold on to both of these turrets.
Remember, there's only 1 minute left on this buff. Even though you get the faster recall and the sort of home guard buff coming back out, you still lose plenty of time, and looks like Team Liquid might just weather the storm.
Yeah, I'd really like Gravity to go back to that 1-3-1 that they had early on in the game. with Hanser and Keen being the choices for split pushing, because it is very hard for them. Whoa, they're going for a turret dive instead, and Liquid are not together under the turret.
Quas ult Zonia's, but the turret goes down right away, and can they really stop this? Flashing away by Quas means there's no more chase kills, but who cares? Buddy flashes in, hooks Phoenix, down he goes! 1-0 to start this one out, and Gravity gonna keep on going. They've got the Baron buff. The Cop might pull aggro. Nope, not gonna matter here. Down goes turret number 2 in this push. Inhibitor is open to them, and that's gonna be quickly the Inhibitor taken. Nice dive by Gravity.
Oh, that is huge for them. The short range team already with the Inhibitor down. And we've seen how cleanly they can strangle the map. Team Gravity looks like they're going to backdoor for a little bit here.
A little bit risky.
Fairly dangerous.
Face the mountain popped. Okay. 5v4 backdooring maybe a bit too risky for these guys, but now the top Inhibitor being down means it'll create a lot of pressure.
Man, that flash hook, by the way, he had both main threats pinned in a line, so even though Piglet gets out of the way, Phoenix gets hit with the hook. Bunny Fufu the Bishop.
King
I haven't played chess in quite a long time, actually, Freak.
I haven't either. Were you any good?
No, not that good. I mean, I had basic chess class in high school. Or not even high school, middle school. They had after school programs.
I wish I went to your school. I played against myself and came up with like ranks. I was like a rookie top ace.
Sounds like something you would do. Meanwhile, in this game, Team Liquid now, really few options. They don't even have the full line of Inhibitor turrets to put their backs against, which would be a great case for them. If they had everybody in place, turret defenses, this is the place for the composition to fight, but nobody in place in time, and Baron buff allows Gravity to run right through the base. So pretty much full control now, and I expect a fairly calm end to this game from Gravity. They don't really have any pressure for them. I mean, they can easily go for that dive.
They could.
But in the past, they have shown
more restraint than you would have thought.
Yes, exactly.
That's totally fair. I'll give you that one. Unfortunately, Team Liquid, again, I just have to stress, 5.2, 5.3 Tristana, not the same as the old Tristana. She's not that 60-minute I win you the game type AD carry. And so the fallback patterns you might have expected, not here really for Team Liquid. It's actually on Azir, it's on Phoenix to be that champion. But right now, more turrets going down. Team Liquid afraid to contest here. They're down 12,000 gold. Why wouldn't they be? And now they're looking at Inhibitor turret number 2.
Zed can take out even Nexus turrets if you leave him alone for too long. He is really strong right now. So Quas goes to try and answer.
And the Super Minions, Keen not willing to commit himself to that one. Getting rooted into turret range, not the happiest place for him.
But all he has to do is escort the Super Minion up to the Nexus turret, and that Nexus turret is below 50%. Super Minion's still doing his work.
A lot getting done here. They're poking back and forth across the wall, though. Hanser puts a couple of saplings down. And look at this bottom turret. Even though they're so short range, it's down to 1/3 health. Progress is being made by Gravity here.
Baron 1 minute, Dragon 130. They don't have to overcommit to these Inhibitor turrets, but they are going down very quickly. And they'll definitely take one if they can get it.
Might happen sooner than you think. Mid lane under fire by Keen. Saves his shadow. Has it to get away from Dominate. Does so very easily. 45 seconds now on Baron. Another big minion wave is down on the top lane, but in comes the engage for Dominate. Can he lock up enough of the team? Hanser is tanking the front lines, though. Ulti
No
popped
dive.
by Cop. No dive. Ulti's traded.
Disengage.
Ooh, Phoenix is low. Looking to stay alive, though. Keen switches quickly to mid lane, and now that one's below half. Goes back in. Bottom lane did go down to Cop. Hanser holding the front line. Now the Inhibitor is under fire, and Keen is still making his way in. 2 Inhibitor turrets died over that extended engagement. And now Gravity can quickly recall, build themselves up off that gold, and they are still in control here.
Yeah, really solid play. And they do not overextend. They don't go for the counter initiation. They don't try and dive in under the turret. Just return to that split push Zed. Being able to work on the mid turret. They take down both, and they don't even stick around for the Inhibitors because of the timing of the Baron and Dragon spawn. So they want to get back out onto the map to retain vision control and secure the actual end. The Baron is what can give you the power for the final push.
Nice.
Oh, Azir.
Threatened by Bunny Fufu and Haunter, though, and doesn't get it all the way down. Red buff conveniently timed for Piglet, though. Gives him a bit of power for the impending fight, I assume, over Baron. Top and Hip also coming back up soon, but Gravity have swept away wards.
Last-ditch effort. They got to do something.
Okay, the Demacian standard shows. Dominate knows about this. 6,000 health on Baron. Haunter the front line. Keen goes in, looks for the dive. Great knockback by Phoenix, but takes so much AoE. He's got to pop the Zonias. He will do so. Quas in the front line pops Zonias as well, and St. Vicious will be the first casualty. Maybe this will go okay for Team Liquid. They're trying, but the damage output just comes through. So much pain and suffering, but Phoenix fires back, gets 2 more. 3 dead on the one side, only 2 on the other. I take it back, Team Liquid. Maybe doing okay, but be careful the hook. Oh, it does just dodge away.
Pings already into the inhibitors. Interesting, because 3 members, they do still have both of their solo lanes up that could defend. And it's just Keen here, so. Oh, that's why they pinged in the minions.
Minions were there.
They don't need to have everyone survive the fight if they take long enough for the super minions to get their inhibitor. And again, super minions unlocking more super minions.
Here we go. Quick and clean dragon take here by Gravity. 2 more hits. There we go. 4 dragons now for Gravity. 4 in a row.
All right, so let's see. Let's keep your eyes on Phoenix and Piglet, the main 2 targets here. Phoenix gets bursted out early, but he actually Zanya's Wild Special is healing, and he flashes over the wall to gain the distance and gets the auto attack from a very safe distance here, and that's how they come back. A lot of damage done. Cop gets in pretty close, and Keen's able to, Phoenix is able to finish him off. Wow. So they get split up. Cop was not keeping track of Phoenix after he flashed over that wall.
Oh yeah.
Can't see him, and playing the AD carry.
Great heads-up play by Phoenix to get that kill and give his team map control, because you know if they were forced to back to defend that inhibitor, it would have meant Baron for Gravity. So a brief respite, but Top and Hip still did die to minions, meaning that Gravity continued to hold the map advantage. On top of that, actually stagnant 12,000 gold lead. Hasn't grown in a little while. Dragon 4, though, does mean this game has a shorter timer than Team Liquid would like.
I don't know, at this point, they can even, if they're having trouble controlling these wards in the red side jungle, they can even just go back to the Zed threat. Nobody can still answer him. It looks like Maokai, though, the option, since he has teleport. Gonna try and bait him over here into the Baron. Goes down really quick.
Dying. Dominate, he's got to try right now. Doesn't show up in time. There's the hook. Dominate getting caught, and they will start the battle. How much damage can Special and the rest of this company do? Looks like the jungler's going to fall right off the bat. Quas hooked in. Does Zonia's in time, but it's a 5v4. Special gonna join and die. 3 kills in a row. They trade one back as Vi falls. But a 4 versus 2 with Baron buff could be the game for Gravity.
And the former Academy team here completely schooling Team Liquid. Just the short range, simpler composition to pull off, but very well executed.
Absolutely amazingly executed. Gigantic lead. Gravity played well. They denied the siege. They found the individual plays. They're taking down all the inhibitors right now. And this Baron buff could mean they end the game soon. 30 seconds on all the respawns. Bunny Fufu's coming back up soon. They've got a 3v2 right here, plus a gigantic set of minion waves. Haunter, though, losing a lot of health. He's got to be careful that he doesn't die to Piglet. Doesn't jump in. Cop! Oh my god! Takes down his replacement on the team. And this is going to mean the game. Turret number 2. Nexus now the target. Phoenix is going to try. He kills 1. Nope, not going to be enough. I take it back. He actually was the one who died. And that is the game. Gravity takes a win, improves to 4-4.
In a very, very calm manner as well. Team Liquid with some work to do, some review to go over. A couple of mid-game decisions there.
Yeah, just seems like Team Liquid never got off the ground, which I guess you might expect against a team like Gravity. But at the same time, they did... It took you a second. There's the facepalm from Kobe. But such a controlled game. It's the Hyphy engaged comp by Gravity, but they took their time, picked their right battles, and those guys on the screen right here, they earned that win.
They definitely did that, especially that guy right there. Well played.
No one could answer Keen. And I gotta say, we saw our first Swain in the LCS. Oh, Quas was not able to get enough done. The persistent damage output team, they didn't seem to have enough time to deal persistent damage. The burst that came out from Zed, Vi, and Graves made the fights too short for Swain to matter here.
Yeah, they really had to make use of this control that they have. I mean, they have so many things. They can alter to the terrain with Dominate. They can use Phoenix Ultimate to reposition their enemies. Same thing with like Special, but they were never able to coordinate all of the tools that they chose with Piglet. The one time where they had this mid-game option, Piglet had already blown everything and exposed himself. No self-peel left, and Gravity did a great job of collapsing every single time that Team Liquid gave them an opening outside, away from turrets.
Yeah, and there's so many little things you could point to be like, oh, here's why Team Liquid did it wrong. You could say, well, Zhonya's a little bit late from Phoenix, a little bit late for Quas. QSS, 5th item for Piglet. They had so many ways to almost survive Zed here, but yeah, just unfortunately misplayed team fights. Gravity taking very good advantage. We've seen them now multiple times playing around Key and Zed, diving people really hard, and winning those engagements, playing them well, executing them properly. And Gravity, again, coming into this match, Double said, hey, they're actually really good, be careful. It's true.
Yeah, and those little issues that we saw where they were not coordinated, not going in with St. Vicious, not timing the engages correctly, all gone. Very, very good job collapsing.
Well, good job solving those issues, Gravity, but now we've got Dash, Zyrene, and Jat to walk us through that Gravity win.
Thank you, gentlemen. A pretty back-and-forth win there, although definitely still a little bit more one-sided for Gravity. Do have to touch on the fact that that was the first Swain we've seen in NALCS history.
Yeah.
However, woo, made it.
Locked it in.
However, a little underwhelming.
Yeah, it was unfortunate. I mean, we've all been waiting a really long time to see Quas' Swain. I watch it in solo queue whenever I see it. It's like, oh man, it's Swain, I can't wait. Then it didn't work. The team didn't play around it.
But Swain is one of those champions. Although he was down in CS early and had that unfortunate turret dive in the early stages of the game, Swain is a champion that scales very well, both as a tank, but also damage presence because of the Zhonyas and the scaling health on the Roa and his ability to sustain during a fight. So that has to point to Team Liquid obviously looking to the late game saying, it's okay that the Swain got off to a slightly slow start. We can still come back in this.
Yeah, Keen kind of shut them down there, though. He dominated the mid lane. They put a lot of pressure in that mid lane, threw Phoenix off his game on Azir, very comfortable champion for him, and then they started to play around with pushing and kind of spilling over his lead into other lanes, and that's what really affected it, is that Zed got so far ahead.
And Gravity is beginning to make a pattern of like violating teams that can disengage and killing them anyway. Because, I mean, if we go to kind of team comp school, and this is one of the issues that Team Liquid had, they have 3 knockbacks on their team to create sustained fights. The Azir Wall, the Janna ultimate, and the Trist ultimate. They need to use those. They need to disengage, right? They were using a lot of their spells to engage, which then allowed so much destruction from Gravity. I mean, they were playing it, Team Liquid was playing it slow for a long time, because you look at that team and you think, man, if this team goes late, there's nothing you can do to touch them. They're just going to sit back and kill you with their sustained damage. And they were playing it slow for a while. Then something like broke in their minds. They're like, we have to fight all the time.
Yeah, we have a replay that kind of showcases that 35 minutes into the game. We're going to get that up onto your screen. And Jat, I'll let you continue with your point here, because it does seem that Team Liquid is the aggressor in all these situations, and yet the fights are not coming out in their favor.
So this is a strange one, because Keen is looking to flank Team Liquid, so what Team Liquid should be doing is they should be pulling away from him, hope he engages, and then stand and fight your ground. Azir is a zone control champion. His little bird legs can only take him so far, so when they make him reposition once, he can't reposition again. Phoenix is in this spot now, and he is trapped. He gets hooked. Where are you going to disengage? You're trapped between these 2 walls now, so they're only going to be stuck in that corridor. They get completely collapsed upon. And it was their choice to do so. They thought they'd be able to catch the Zed. They did not. And they should have just been straight back in the mid lane. The fight would have gone much better.
Phoenix also failed his flash there. Seemed a little off-kilter. He got first blooded, as Zyrene pointed out. Keen was playing pretty fantastically there on Zed. Maybe put him a little bit on edge after that initial first blood.
And the end of that fight kind of goes to show how long they would actually need to take down the Maokai. I mean, Piglet was critting him for like 200 damage. Hauntzer's Maokai was huge.
Right, so that's a great example of the things that Team Liquid should not have been doing. So how do we approach a team comp like this and use it effectively to still aggress around the map? Because you don't want to become complacent. You never want to be, you know, a non-threat. You know, so how do you play this comp in an aggressive manner without having to straight up team fight?
So they have all the tools available to them to tower bomb. They have the Azir W, they have the Tristana E. They're able to siege these turrets down, and they have excellent wave clear. With this composition that Gravity had drafted for themselves was really hard engage. This team that Liquid engaged drafted for themselves punishes hard engage by standing around turrets or taking fights in the jungle where you can manipulate the terrain with Azir. What you do is you wait for them to engage on you after you've been sieging and turret bombing every now and then. You then put up a turret, and you can Zhonya's and still have persistent damage from the turret if you're Azir, or if you're Zhonya'ing as Swain, you still have persistent damage from your Ravenous Flock. So this team composition definitely punishes you for engaging, and they get to pick their engages by disengaging with the knockbacks that you mentioned before. Yeah. So they either take it by a dead turret while sieging, and they can just keep going up, or they take them deep in the jungle where they can manipulate the terrain, like I said.
And they did it once. They
had
had
one
one good fight. And it kind of backs up our point a little bit of how, if they can control the zone, instead of running to a spot and fighting right away, that it can go much better for them. They were down, what, like 8,000 gold at a Baron fight, and they won the fight, even with Piglet getting hooked.
We have that replay, so we're going to get that up because it contrasts very well with the previous point. So 44 minutes into the game, take it away.
Yeah, what you're going to see here is a hook comes out from Bunny Fufu. Giving Bunny Fufu Thresh is actually a really big deal here, but they start this fight off, and manipulating the terrain with this composition is really big. But you see right there, throw them off the side. These guys can't get into the fight anymore. Phoenix goes to safety after this and continues to put out damage after the Zhonyas. They have essentially just ripped the composition of Gravity in half. Cop and Keen are not a factor because Dominate and Phoenix zone them off of it. So this was how you're supposed to play this composition, but the gold difference is what played the biggest factor here.
If not for that unfortunate hook there on Piglet too, right at the end, it could have been an even more one-sided fight with the damage that would have come out from him.
They do come out on top originally, like 3 for 2. That's a great fight when you're 8K down, even more than that at this point, I think. But that's how you're supposed to play this, and they didn't play to that early enough. And even just looking at Gravity's comp, and this is always something that blows my mind too, is this is a comp that if you let them get ahead, they can run away with the game. But the fact that they are all physical damage threats against a team that is going to buy Zhonyas, they're also going to get a tanky Jarvan, you can eventually outlast them and just deal sustained damage. And this team also itemized first for magic resistance on Gravity's side. They weren't looking to deal with like diving a turret. They are not suited to dive a turret, and you punish them so much for that. And I'm just going to stop going on about that.
It was the strangest thing. Like, the game played out not how it should have.
Right.
Because there should have been an emphasis on Gravity to end the game. They're the team with the burst damage. We're going to keep talking about these team comps anyway because they have interactions that were not being respected.
Well, the game was not won or lost by the team comp, is the point. They were won and lost. It was won and lost by the way that they were played.
Yeah, so looking again at Gravity, they have a lot of burst damage. Graves, Zed, Vi, they're the pick comp that wins fast and quick impromptu fights. Whereas the Swain, Azir, Tristana, there's no burst damage there. That is literally just sustained damage. Why are they trying to make the fast, quick fights with the Dominate Jarvan ultimates again and again? It just doesn't make sense when you think about it that way. And that's why they were losing those fights when they were even in gold.
An interesting attempt at some innovation, pulling that Swain in at the top lane. Unfortunately, unsuccessful. We'll see if they're more successful in the future. But we've got to step away for a moment. But when we return, Dignitas will take on Team 8 in our 5th game of the day. The action continues in just 3.5.
Up next, we've got Game 4 with Gravity taking on Team Liquid. Gigantic dive on this one. Dominate is around, but the damage output looks like it's not enough being done. Special knocks the team into the turret, and they will pick up Hanser.
And they go in on this one.
Still got a turret, though. Bunny Fufu's going to go down, just does not respect the turret, but Saint fires back.
Had a flash. Triss in the pit, Triss in the pit.
Right. Triss. They're both in the pit. Kite back a little bit. Kite. Oh, Zero. I'm on Triss. Kill these guys. Nice.
Getting caught, and they will start the battle. How much damage can Special and the rest of this company do? Looks like the jungler's going to fall right off the bat. Quas hooked in. Does Zhonya's in time, but it's a 5v4, and that is the game. Gravity takes a win, improves to 4-4.